Hey everybody, what's going on? There's plenty to dive into in this video. But before we do that, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It's as easy as clicking in the bottom right hand corner of this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what I'm going to be discussing in today's video. Now, we've already known the hype train behind Lane Hutson is kind of getting a little bit wacky as of right now, but that doesn't mean that what people are saying isn't true about this young defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens. Hutson continues to amaze me just with his poise with the puck, his ability to move the puck, his shifty shoulder shakes, his ability to run a power play at the NHL level. He's doing everything that's already exceeded my expectations, and last night was just another stepping stone on his early season success for this team. In making the team, that has to be the main goal for him, and it appears as though he's pretty much locked in a role for the Montreal Canadiens on opening night when the team hosts the Toronto Maple Leafs. The team he was playing against last night in Toronto, one that basically iced an NHL caliber lineup besides Austin Matthews, and there really wasn't any reason to say that Lane Hutson looked out of place. Instead, he was dominant for the majority of that hockey game, showing why he belongs in the NHL and why he can already be a difference maker for the Montreal Canadiens. There's a lot of talk about, oh, this player's too small, oh, the physicality will catch up to him. It hasn't caught up to him before. He's continued to excel at every single level that he's played at outside of the NHL, and we already saw it during his two-game stint last year against the Detroit Red Wings. This player is NHL ready. It was a very short sample size, but he still showed many things during that stint that showed that he's ready to be an NHL caliber defenseman. And I'm not talking about just with the puck. I'm talking about how he defends. He's just a very smart hockey player and one that's very much ready for the show in Montreal. I think that whether you decide to start him with David Savard or you start him potentially with Caden Gooley, something I know that the Montreal Canadiens were experimenting with last night in Toronto. Martin St. Louis had him on his offside, and Hutson didn't miss a beat, and he continued to play well on that side as well. So I think that potentially sets him up for multiple ways that he can be utilized on this Montreal Canadiens roster on opening night, whether you decide to pair him with Caden Gooley, whether you decide to pair him with a more veteran, steady presence like David Savard. The options are there for the Montreal Canadiens. And I believe personally he's already able to play 20 minutes a night at the NHL level, and that doesn't even include power play time. We really haven't gotten a sense of what he's going to do at the NHL level in terms of the power play because the Canadiens simply haven't practiced that yet in training camp. Once the roster gets cut down and we start to see more of the NHL bodies there, you're going to have a better idea of where he stands in terms of the man advantage. I know Mike Matheson had a fine season last year as the Habs power play quarterback, but I believe Hutson's much more suited for that role. And I think that you can spread out the offense and kind of limit some of the minutes that Matheson is playing. I think that really helps both parties and should be a solution for the Montreal Canadiens to get their power play to at least the league average level. Because if they want to be in the mix come March or April next season, they're going to need to improve the power play. And Hutson is definitely a solution in that regard. I just think you're seeing all the things you want to see from this young defenseman. And although the hype might get out of control, I think it's just warranted right now with the way he's playing in camp and what we saw last night against this NHL caliber Leafs roster. This is just what we expect from this player. The hype is there, and I think that Hutson is going to have a very strong rookie season, and he's going to be in the running for the Calder all season long. That's pretty much it for today's video of Cook's Corner. I think that Oliver Kapanen as well is in the mix for a roster spot with the Montreal Canadiens. He continues to show well in training camp and in the exhibition games. Owen Beck has done a fine job as well, along with some of the other young defensemen. There's going to be some growing pains, and that's why I think that David Reinbacher, Adam Engstrom, these players are going to start in the AHL, and that's going to be better for them in terms of their long-term development. So I think that everything is trending in a positive direction. You're slowly starting to see how this lineup is going to shape out, and it's going to include plenty of youth for this Montreal Canadiens team. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on Lane Hutson and whether or not you've been impressed with him early on in the preseason. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.